is a continuation of our clause test topic. Yes. So in this video, let's see the different questions and how we need to approach, because we saw about how to prepare and then we saw different types. Now let's try solving few questions which will make us even more stronger and even more clear on this particular topic. Yes. So now let's see the first question, your first passage. So what are we going to do? We are going to first read the passage, understand the theme of the passage, and try filling those blanks with our appropriate choices, and then let's move on to our questions. Yes, our options. If necessary, we will be using the elimination method, or let's see how easily we are able to choose the right answer. Yes. Now let's read our passage, and sometimes there are a lot of chances that the passage is very new to you. You might not be able to understand. Yes, the words, the vocabulary used might be high. So all you need to do is try to find out the theme. So what is it actually talking about? Yes, so you might have keywords here and there. Try to connect those keywords. That will definitely help you to find the theme. Yes. So with that note, let's read this passage. Yes, Chernosem soil formation is most intensive in the forest steppe zone, where better moisture conditions promote more intensive development of grassy vegetation and active humification of its residue. In the steppe zone, inadequate moisture causes shallower root penetration, a dash in the amount of dead matter entering the soil, and fuller decomposition of the matter. So let me break down this paragraph to this. Okay. So this entire passage I'm breaking down so that I can have an idea. Yes. So this is talking about the Chernosem soils formation. And in which area is it talking? Because it's talking in the forest steppe zone. Because you can see that this forest steppe zone is again repeated. Okay. So it's talking about the agriculture. Yes. Or it's talking about how, soil is formed. In where? In the steppe zone area. Yes. Next. So here you have a blank. Okay, so this is what we have to identify. So inadequate moisture causes shallower root penetration, a dash in the amount of dead matter entering the soil, and fuller decomposition of the matter. Okay. So first they are telling that only if there is moisture, the Chernosem soil is formed. And in the second sentence, what are they saying? If there is inadequate moisture, what will happen? The root penetration will be less. So what will happen then to the dead matter? See, dead matters are used for enriching the soil process. So somewhat maybe for this blank it should be it decreases or it reduces, something like that, or it becomes less. So it should be related to this word only. So that is our identification or probably our idea. Okay. Next, now let's move on. The natural process of soil formation alters significantly when Chernosems are brought into agricultural use. Okay. So Chernosem is a soil, right? It's a soil that is used in where steppe zone. So that is an identification that we are able to understand only when we started with the second half, right? The natural process of soil formation alters significantly when Chernosems are brought into agricultural use. So these soils are used for agricultural purpose. So the cultivation dash crops changes significantly the character of the biological cycle of matter and conditions of formation of the water and heat regimes. Okay. So the cultivation here, its crop changes. So here there should be a preposition that could be used because it needs a connecting word. So maybe it should be cultivation from or cultivation of, but usually from won't come, right? Because they are telling that it changes. So you have to look for a word that would describe about the cultivation. Yes. So the cultivation of crops changes significantly. Okay. Now, a large part of the biomass formed and consequently a significant quantity of nutrients are removed each year, and the period of vigorous interaction between the plant root systems and the soil is reduced. Okay. Now next, In addition, the soil remains for a long time without a plant cover. Yes, so when you're using this Chernosem soils, you need not use any other extra remains or something, because this can stay for a longer time, which reduces its absorption of winter precipitation. What is winter precipitation? During winter, your the moisture in the soil will get precipitated. So they're telling that this would be avoided. So when virgin Chernozems are first plowed, so what is virgin Chernozems? New, the baby, yes, pure. So it's fresh. So that is when we say it's virgin. So when virgin Chernozems are first plowed, the structure of the soil is partially broken down and the content of humus and nitrogen in the plowed horizon drops, especially in the first years of cultivation. So they're telling, initially when you're cultivating, there are certain changes. Now, this process slowed down in dash years. Okay. So if you see, in the first plot, the structure of the soil is partially broken down and the content of humus and nitrogen in the plowed horizon drops, especially in the first years of. So they're talking about the first years. So next, what will be happening in the future years? What are the years that are coming? So you can see that slows down in the future years. Yes. At the same time, the activation of microbiological processes when Chernozems are cultivated promotes the mobilization of nitrogen and phosphorus. Therefore, cultivated Chernozems have a high content of nutrients that are available to plants. Yes, so to maintain the high fertility of Chernozems that have been brought into intensive cultivation, it is dash to introduce crop rotation, apply organic and mineral fertilizers, and use a proper soil tillage system, so to maintain high fertility. So what you need to do, you have to introduce crop rotation. So they're telling you have to. So it is, maybe you can say it is necessary or it is important. Yes. So these kind of meaningful words can be chosen, right? So now we came to an understanding, right? And we also came to an understanding of what words can complete this passage, right? So now let's move on to our options. So your first option is 1. Decrease, 2. Low, 3. Less, 4. Lessen, and then lower. Okay. So what did we think about? We thought about same, decrease, reduce, less. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words which are synonyms of each other. So how will you choose the most appropriate word? So here you need to choose the word that will significantly match in that particular sentence, right? Next. So let's look at this sentence. So in the step zone, inadequate moisture causes shallow root penetration, or less in the amount, or now let's see, a dash in the amount, a decrease in the amount, a low in the amount, a lessen or lower. No. So you can see that decrease, the word decrease is grammatically right or logically right in the first blank. Second, the cultivation of crops. So do you have the word of, on, for, of, them, and? Yes. So you have of, which is your right answer. Third, this process slows down in dash years, future years. That is in the upcoming years. So what is the word that will come? Okay. That will fit in for the future years. So after years, no. Later years, okay. Late years, no, because you're comparing. Next years, no, the further. Okay, so you have further or later. Let's see. This process slow down in later years, or this process slow down in further years. Yes, so you already spoke about the first year. So what will be the right option here? This process slow down in later years. Yes, so later we do not know. Yes, so when it is going to happen. So you can choose the right option, later. And what did we think about the fourth option? Necessary or important. So here you can see unimportant, no. Ignorant, no. Unnecessary, no. Essential, vague. So it is an essential is also similar to necessary or important. So what we can do is, this is essential. Okay, so now we have found out the 4 words that would close our passage. So which is decreases, of, later, and essential. So after fitting in these words, you can do a reading in case you have time at the last 2 or 3 minutes of your test completion, and you can ensure if you have chosen the right word. Yes? Next. So now let's move on to our second question. So what is this type? There will be a paragraph with missing words or empty spaces which are numbered from 1 to 5. You are required to fill in this space one by one by choosing the most appropriate word after the 4 options given in the question. Okay. So now let's see. Today, doing business is not easy for businessmen as they are not used to competition. In the past, they were selling whatever dash produced and at their desired price. So, in the past, they were selling whatever they produced, yes, and at their desired price. But the competition, so second, but maybe now the competition, or today the competition, yes, or at present the competition, it can be something like that. So, but dash the competition has increased over the years. Customers started to dash and choose, okay. So, maybe customers started to think and choose, right, or plan, something like that, yes. Imports have become dash available widely, yes, or easily available, yes. These are the words that comes to our mind. So immediately, see, when I am suggesting you these words, there might be few other words that are coming in your mind also. So you can also take a note of it, yes. Available, and that too at a cheaper, what is it, cheaper price or cheaper cost or cheaper rate, or it will be something like this only. So now let's move on to our options. So first, he, them, it, they. So what did we think about they? Yes. So the first itself, it was talking about they. So your option they is your right answer. Next. But, now, today, present. So that was our idea. So here you have with, as, when, only. So there are prepositions. So we need to now remove our choice of words. So I was thinking now, today, or present. But we have 4 options. What are they? With, as, when, only. With, as, when, only. So let's see which will. But, with the competition has increased. No. But as the competition has increased. But when the competition has increased. Okay. But only the competition. But what do we say? It is the sentence. But with the competition that has increased means that is missing. So we'll have but as the competition has increased over the years, because it is combining. Because of this, that has happened. That is why we are using the transitional word as. Customers started to think and choose. Let's go for the third one. Think. Pick, select, want, take. Pick, select, want, take. This is your 4 options. So let's see. Customers started to select and choose, pick and choose, want and choose, take and choose. So want and take will not be the right logical word there. So it's either pick and choose or select and choose, right? So select and choose, it's the same. Yes, it's the same. So pick is the word that we are left out with, okay? So we choose the word pick from here. But as the competition has increased over the years, customers started to pick and choose. Now what's next? Imports have become dash available. What's your 4th one? Yes. Costly, not, easily, hardly. So do we have easily or hardly? So easily, widely is our option. So easily, yes. Imports have become easily available. See, we have this option. So costly, no. easily available, and that too at cheaper prices, cost, rates. So what is the option that we have? Prices, cost. So inputs will not be the right option, profits will not be the right. So you have prices and costs. So which will be the right option? And that too at cheaper prices or costs. Yes? So what do we say? Cost or prices when it comes? We can always use the word cost, yes, which is a generalized term. So at cheaper costs. Okay. So that is all about this paragraph. Yes. So now let's move on to our next question. In the late 19th century, Nicholas Notovich, a Russian traveler, dashed an account of his journey through India to Ladakh. In it, he wrote about an ancient manuscript read to him by a monk in a monastery. That dash of Jesus traveling to India to study the Oriental religions. The monk, he claimed, had dashed that Jesus has been revered in the area as a prophet named Isa. The revelations in the travelogue caused dash controversy, with Notovich being denounced by scholars and travelers alike until he finally dashed to having made up the story. So what does this paragraph try to tell us? This is talking about a traveler, Nicholas Notovich, who wrote about an ancient manuscript that was read to him by a monk. Okay, and what is this ancient manuscript talking about? It's talking about Jesus. Okay, and that is also talking about Jesus, who was revered in the area as a prophet named Isa. Okay, and it is talking about the revelations that created a lot of controversy, and because of which he was denounced, by scholars and travelers. Denounce is talking about ill or not paying respect, something like that. Okay, until he finally told something about it to having made up the story. So this is completely talking about Nicholas and what he has written. Now with that, that is our understanding. Okay, so now let's move on to the options. Let's move on to the blanks. So now what we are going to do is we are going to try and come up with words that may fill in these blanks, right? So Nicholas Notovich, a Russian traveler, dash an account of his journey. Maybe he wrote about it, spoke an account, or he published something like that. Okay, in it a book, something, he published a book or something. Yes. So next, in it he wrote about an ancient manuscript read to him by a monk in a monastery that spoke of Jesus traveling. Yes, that spoke of Jesus, something like that, to India to study the Oriental religions. The monk, he claimed, had dashed that Jesus has been revered. Had told that Jesus, because he's telling about something that happened. The revelations in the traveler caused maybe a lot of controversy, a high controversy, yes, with Notovich being denounced by scholars and travelers alike until he finally told or revealed, yes, to have made up the story. So these are our idea. Yes, now let's move on to our options. Yes, so first question, which of the following words most appropriately fits the blank E? So it's coming from the last. See, this is kind of confusing. Yes, so whenever you go from the end, what happens is your time, right? You might miss on the time. So quickly move on to your fifth question and start from the first. Which of the following words most appropriately fits the blank labeled A? Yes, so what did we think? Nicholas Notovich, a Russian traveler, wrote or spoke or published. So let's see about our options. Yes, so we have generated, no. Established, no. So yeah, we have published. Yes, so published a book. Now what's the second one? In it, he wrote about an ancient manuscript read to him by a monk in a monastery that spoke about Jesus, or spoke of. Let's see something relating to that. Okay. Fourth question. So which of the following words most appropriately fits the blank B? Recited, reciprocated, reconciled, spoke, none of these. Okay, so it spoke about Jesus. So you see, we got the word spoke, right? Spoke is your right answer. Recited is to just tell, right? It's like a poem reciting, but there you are speaking about him. Reciprocated, reconciled is not the right options. Yes, now the next one. So the third one, okay? The monk, he claimed, had dash that Jesus has been revered in the area, okay? So he's telling, yes. Third question, right? So which of the following words most appropriately fits the blank labeled C? So what did we see for the option C? Yes, A, B, C. So the monk, he claimed, had told that Jesus has been revered. So told or spoke, okay? Or he has, revealed or something like that, right? So third one. Which of the following words most appropriately fits the blank label C? Reprimanded, revealed, eschewed, actively, none of this, okay? So you can see that revealed is there, and revealed is the right option because you have a connecting word also. These revelations, okay, the revelations in the travelogue caused dash controversy. So what controversy? Yes, what controversy? It caused a minuscule, septic, terrestrial, immense. So it's an immense controversy. Yes. We also saw a high, right? We thought that the word could be high. So it's an immense controversy with Notovich being denounced by scholars and travelers alike until he finally penalized, realized, conceded, accepted. None of these, okay? So unless there is nothing about realize, yes? To have made up the story, he should have told, right? So he accepted to having made up the story, which is the right option, yes? So this is another question that we saw. So questions can be like any type, right? It could be easy, difficult, okay? Or it can be very new to you. But the way you're approaching it, you will be able to choose the right option. Next. To use the English language efficiently, you need to understand the most dash concepts. So what? Maybe it is fundamental, okay, or some basic concepts. Yes. Parts of speech and parts of a sentence. They are dash similar, okay. So they are probably quite similar, or they are something like that. In fact, one is built on one another. To dash and analyze a sentence, okay, so to understand, right, to understand and analyze a sentence, you must recognize how each part of speech functions in that sentence. Some parts of speech can dash in a variety of ways. Maybe it can differ or it can vary depending on the sentence. For example, a noun may function as a subject, object, or even an adjective. Look at how Spanish can be used in 4 different ways maybe. Yes, so now let's look at that question. So first, advanced, challenging, simplest, basic, none of these. So you have the option basic. Second, quite, somewhat, overwhelmingly, quiet, interestingly. So you thought it's quite. Next, to understand and analyze. So do you have the word understand? Yes, so understand. Some parts of speech can dash, okay. Performance, presented, flourish, compare, function. So some parts of speech can be presented or can perform, can function, right? Because these words are not grammatically right when you fit it in. Next, look at how Spanish can be used in 4 different ways. Yes? So it can be used in 4 different ways. Okay? So this is one example that we could come across. Next, in the following passage, there are blanks, each of which has been numbered. For each number, some words are suggested below the passage, one of which fits the blank appropriately. So find the appropriate words. So according to the Reserve Bank of India, the banking sector in India is sound, adequately dash and regulated. Okay, so adequately sound. What do we say? Adequately, it has enough money, right? Enough money. Indian financial and dash conditions are much better than in many other countries of the world. Okay, so Indian financial and risk conditions, okay, or today's conditions, right? Credit market and dash risk studies show that Indian banks are generally dash and have withstood the global downturn well. So here it's a subject-oriented paragraph. Maybe few words cannot come up to your mind. What can it fit in? So that time, once you read the entire passage, you can switch into your questions, look at the options, and you can come back to the passage, right? Next, and have withstood the global downturn well. With a sense of optimism slowly dash in, the banking industry expects that 2015 will bring better growth prospects. So let's divide it, okay? Now we'll go and find out the blanks for this, yes? So first, realized, subsidized, defunded, capitalized. So we were speaking about more money. So the capitalized is the right option. Second, yes, is adequately capitalized, which means it has good money. And well regulated. Indian financial and what conditions? Climatic, political, economic, and environmental. Yes, so these are general, but economic is what the term that could suit into the Reserve Bank of India topic, right? So it's economy. Economic conditions are much better than in many other countries of the world. Credit market and dash risk studies. What risk studies? Personal, liquidity, systematic, security. Yes, liquidity. It's about money. Capital and liquidity risk studies show that Indian banks are generally resilient, delicate, weak, and rigid. Okay, so it's not weak, it's not delicate, it is rigid. Yes, Indian banks are generally rigid and have withstood the global downturn well. Okay, so that's why it was able to withstand. With a sense of optimism, slowly dash in, coming in, something like coming in, or retreating, decreasing, leaving. So these are all about leaving, but creeping is what is about coming in, right? So what is your right option here? Sixth one, creeping. The banking industry expects that 2015 will bring better growth prospects. This optimism stems from factors such as the government working hard to dash the industrial growth in the country and the RBI initiating a number of measures that would go a long way in helping the banks to dash. So two blanks in the same sentence, okay? So working hard to, what is 6? Absorb, cripple, anticipate, and revitalize. So let's see what is the right option. So this optimism stems from factors such as the government working hard to revitalize could be the right option, because the absorb is taking away, cripple, no. Anticipate is about, like what is happening in future, you're just anticipating. But revitalize is what? Bringing it back. Yes? Revitalize the industrial growth in the country, and the RBI initiating a number of measures that would go a long way in helping the banks to, banks to subsist, prevail, restructure, because we were talking about revitalize, right? So restructure. Banks to restructure. The recent announcement of RBI, it is felt a clear pointer to the future of the restructure. So this is a key word here, okay? So the Indian banking sector is dash with 46, okay? The Indian banking structure is collaborated, fragmented, aligned, and combined, okay? So you can see collaborated, aligned, and combined are giving the same options, right? Same meaning, but only one is fragmented. So let's see fragmented with fit in. Is fragmented with 46 commercial banks. Yes, fragmented is divided. Here itself you had a clue. See, 3 means the same. So you can eliminate and you're coming up with a one option left. Yes. Next. For business with dozens of foreign banks as well as rural and cooperative lenders. State banks control 80% of the market, leaving relatively small shares for private rivals. At the end of February, 13.7 crore accounts had been opened under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and 12.2 crore RuPay debit cards were dashed. So it should have been issued or granted or something like that, right? So issued, released, furnished and equipped. Yeah. So it has been issued. These new accounts have dashed deposits of 12,694 crore. Okay. So you can see it has resilient, delicate, weak, rigid. Okay. These new accounts have rigid deposits. Yes. So it has rigid deposits of rupees 12,694 crores. Yes. So this is one passage where you're totally clueless. You're not able to come up with words, and you go to the option and approach the options with different strategies, and you finalize the right answer. Okay. So that is all about our question types or the target questions that we came across the Cloze test. Okay. So I hope this video or this topic Cloze test that we discussed will help you score good marks towards the exams that you're preparing for, right? So I wish you all the very best and thank you.